Well, hello, everyone. It is Shooter. We're going to go over Weekend Box Scores Primary Waves Edition. We're at the end of the presentation. Please do review our disclosures. Now, the crazy thing here, the only two charts that have held up well enough for me to say hold are Amazon and Google. And that basically, I don't have a negative count for either of those outside of where we are. So we're still within tolerance as far as the uptrend. Everything else is breaking down to some degree. So that's the difficulty here. Now, I'm not going to say trim, but surely if we start rolling into weakness next week, do not hesitate to buy small pieces of puts right at the money with a Friday's expiration and plan on dumping them Wednesday or Thursday, once you've made a couple bucks off them. But stay light. It's really just insulation because I do think we have some more downside. And let's jump right into the charts, though. Now, PLTR looks like it's going to put in a bottom around 1356, so just shy of a buck from where we are. So, I would start scaling there, but I would stay light. Again, my comments about doing half a position size on any longs you decide to enter from what you normally would do to put on a starter position, or just put on some rummers so you can watch it. Just come in and buy a $14 call, do the monthlies, just a couple contracts, just so you have your toes in the water, but you don't have necessarily a normal size position. Because right now we have a lot of risk to the downside, and we have a lot of risk for a continued period of time, which a lot of the mid caps and small caps, could go much lower from where we are, including PLTR, because really we could back test the 200-day. Usually a break below the 50-day, you're looking for that back test. We're not quite 50% back. That's the first number that I look for, but that pretty much is the way that looks, and we could definitely get there. All right, let's look at Intel. Now, we came off a little more than I expected, held up really well at the beginning of the week. However, by Friday, we'd come off quite a little bit, looking for maybe 31.68, but it has not negated the upside at all, and we're looking for 41.83. So, of course, same scenario, scale in, start half size, build a position from there. Then let's jump over and take a look at PLD. Now, again, same scenario. We came off just a little bit. I don't think there was much that did not come off a little bit, except for Amazon and Google. But to the upside, our intermediate wave, our first leg up there is at 139. So we got some decent upside from where we are. So just manage your risk by position size and scale in small pieces as we start to recover. And I will flip from risk off in chat, and I'll say, hey, these look good to the upside. So we'll start chasing some of those as they come into play. All right, let's look at Disney. Now, Disney really is this base here. Now, we break below that 85.16. Really, our a close below that 84.07 sort of invalidates this upside. Considering market circumstances, we've held up very well. But I would not be surprised if this flat extends for a while, because this is shallow. So keep that in mind when you're considering your position size. And then we should head towards, highs above this B, above 125. 23.6, I think, would be our minimum target to the upside once we get out of this ruckus. All right, looking at TDOC, we've been in this base forever, held up really well in this drawdown. Didn't break below the 8-day, that's for sure. So we held where we were. That's good news. Maybe we get a bid to the upside. A little news on that last week as well. Now, Nvidia is new for the downside. Now, our count has pushed substantially lower, looking for maybe back down to 269. Doing this video, or prepping for this video, going into futures open, a lot of people saying this thing's going to just totally pop the first of the week. My thought pattern is I think if I was holding Nvidia here, I would trim, staring this count in the face, because even if we, we've taken out almost our 4. So, this is clearly a 5-wave up. So, the suggested move would be 50% back on the leg, back down to about 311 minimum. And the fact that we have a count down at 269, I would be trimming like a lunatic if you haven't already on Nvidia going into this earnings. Then into earnings, if you want to take some lottos, all right, the most that I would be doing would be Fridays. I wouldn't go out much further than that, so you don't pay a fortune for them. Wait till we get a little bit of a drawdown middle of the week. Start shopping price there if you want to jump on board and buy a couple pieces there on Friday, but not size at all. I mean, I'm talking about just staying small. and trying to earn a couple bucks on that side of the trade. Now, Micron, we had posted this in chat last week. I think we break down here. We're right at trend support. We came back off of that a little bit, so it's getting a little resistance, but really we break below this little speed line I had, breakdown line here, and it is probably right at about 60 bucks. Then we open up that 49 shot, so about 11 bucks lower. Now, one thing nice about Micron is the options are fantastic as far as leverage, because you can buy in 50-cent increments in most time frames. So, you have a decent spot there, as far as to catch a bid, so you can scale a little bit. So you can come in and say, hey, I'm going to do a 58, a 56, 55, a 50, and do little pieces and get those smaller increments so you can scale into the strikes where you think we're going. And then you just build the position from there. So you take out a couple contracts and add to them. So that's one thing I like to do with Micron. Now, ENVX, we had this last week. Nothing's changed. A little bit lower from last week, but we're still, it's one of the shorts. EPR, same scenario. However, it didn't come off quite as much. So, we're still in that trend. Now, right now, the count, has flipped to the other side after we get this too. So, one thing we're looking for is, at least 39, probably about 38, where we are right there at the 23.6. So we should get back down there. Even if we do bounce, just keep that in mind. It's flip-flopping a little bit. Now, the notable bearish signals, we have obviously Rocket Labs, AT&T, Trinity Corp, Applied Materials, Berkshire Hathaway, Microsoft. And now notice Berkshire Hathaway's number. Notice these targets. Those are our downside targets that I have here. So Microsoft still down to maybe 306, Apple down to 152 maybe. So, and American Tower, the low on that, we got a long way down to that 116 is the count that I have for our next primary wave setup long. So, you want to definitely consider holding any longs in this box. If you do, I would stay small. That's what we have for today, folks. Great trading. Until next time.